And we already go. This is Thoughts on Season 5, 2.5 Men show. And starting with completely off-topic stuff, I just yesterday rewatched, it was the second viewing of Avengers Infinity War. That movie is freaking amazing. It still makes me laugh at the best of, especially at the best of the jokes. And the action is so exciting, the pace is so fast. Absolutely love it. Cannot wait for movie 4. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was recently criticized for what she was wearing, and she responded that she is an excellent thrift shopper. She is awesome. She wears your grandma's clothes, and she looks incredible. Now, to the video. Going over characters for, Charlie in some of the season still really heartbroken because of the shallow lifestyle and him not settling down. And Jake is now a teenager, more interested in talking to girls he likes than his father and uncle. Well, food, video games, TV and such. He can be very sullen. He sneaks out of his room despite what his parents say. He picks up on Charlie insulting him and tries to defend himself and or insult him back. And as far as Teddy goes, we see more of his relationship with Evelyn, and I really enjoy the ending. I forget if I noted it elsewhere, but apparently not until they wrote that episode did they decide that they were going to reveal, Teddy and Courtney as being not related and being, more importantly, being these, con men. That, I thought it worked perfectly as part of it, but I mean, that's what you call good writing. There we go. And let's see, I don't really have anything to say about the guest stars that I haven't already noted in the specific episodes. Obviously, part of Charlie having trouble with, accepting that he's not settled down yet is the brief reappearance of Mia. Now, yes, so right, and briefly, the writer's strike. Production on the show was halted on November 6, 2007 because of the 2007-2008 Writers Guild of America strike, and the show returned on March 17th, 2008 with 9 episodes to conclude the 5th season. And I forgot to start the timer, which is going to mess up my time codes. Brilliant. I keep doing this. At some point I gotta learn. And yes, so I guess it's maybe add 4 minutes. I think I've been going for about. Okay, so starting with large birds, spiders, and mom. Berta, how do you wash my laundry? Like I do everything else around here, with a song on my lips and love in my heart. Private? If you get any more traffic down there, you're gonna have to open a Starbucks. Since we're talking about your private area, it could be anything from Ebola to mad cow disease. And we learned that Jake is gonna start junior high school. He's going to start junior high, and there's absolutely nothing to be gained about asking how or why. And they really freak Jake out talking about high school. Some high school kids can be very judgmental, especially if you're knocked up. Of course, on the upside, the pregnant chicks didn't have to go to gym. But does the guy who got them pregnant get any consideration? No, not even a hall pass. Decoy money. They won't stop hitting you until they get something. I love Berta talking about the janitor. I didn't voice type at all, it went so fast, but and don't believe him if he tells you he loves you. Damn it, I missed that one-eyed son of a bitch. If that drug-sniffing dog hadn't found you, you'd have missed Thanksgiving. Drugs? Turns out those dogs are also sensitive to urine. And they give him the cell phone with the speed dial for the police. The police? What's that for? You'll know when it happens. And Charlie's talking about how Jake won't lose the beige sneakers. No, not unless you go walking by an assisted living facility in a rough neighborhood. And then we realized that Charlie was scratching his rash with, I don't know what it's called, that thing you use to get your feet into your shoes. And yep, I did, in fact, set myself on silent. And Alan doesn't think to maybe not provoke the giant guy who skips in the line. And Charlie's scratching his crotch with a grocery cart thing. And I think Julie is her name, Charlie sees the woman, hi. And Charlie doesn't realize that she's waving to the bully, so he's like, hi Julie, how do you know my wife? You said Julie. I didn't say Julie, I sneezed. Julie. Gesundheit. Thank you. And then the walking, clucking the Marseillaise. I think that's how I pronounce it. As Charlie walks away scared from the bully. And with the high school bus, we get an outside scene, which is very unusual, and it's filmed well, unlike the ones on LOLO on season 1 of The Blackadder. I just recently rewatched it. That is pretty much, I think the rest of the seasons they use sets for outside scenes almost exclusively, and then there's outside stuff in the Blackadder Back and Forth where they clearly had a budget and people who really know how to film stuff. I mean, I'd say that it was the zooms and bouncy tracking shots and such in Blackadder were supposed to be almost like parody or like, but it's not funny, and it's just kind of unpleasant to look at, and I forgot to set up the entire light. Excuse me. There we go, that should help. Oh, and I didn't forget to set up the entire, I forget to set up part of it, which means that the entire one was not, yeah, I think you get my drift. And they freak out Jake with more tips right before he goes on the bus, and there's he sees some of them like punching the others, and no one's stopping it. And Alan's taking Jake's photo. Smile. About what? I need a current picture in case you go missing. Alan, don't be ridiculous. I never find those kids. Look at that bus driver. If he wasn't driving a bus, he'd be riding a chopper motorcycle. The rash is primarily around the mossy trunk area, but I'm starting to see some redness in the adjacent boulders. Very explicit for something that they got past censors. I mean, he is literally talking about, penis and testicles, and yeah. I'm not asking you to tickle it, just take a look. I am a doctor. I deal with vertebrae, and contrary to popular belief, there's not a single bone in the penis. Oh, hi, Judith. You only got out of 6th grade because you didn't fit in the desks anymore. And, they catch Jake having skipped school while on the phone. Dad, this phone is for emergencies only. It's worth a shot. If Jake had been smart, he would have simply set it to off ring and on vibrate, and don't speak too loud because you're in the, because he's in his own room in Charlie's house, so they might hear him through the door, but yeah. But that's Jake, he's not bright. I really love Alan listing all the things that Charlie is scared of. And, Jake's talking about how much it hurt to take his soccer balls to the Nats. Makes you wonder what they're doing hanging down there in the first place. Well, P is stored in the balls for one. And, I think... Yeah, I don't remember exactly. Charlie was talking about how to deal with pain. Well, I drink. But I didn't start until the 9th grade. And they blame it on Judith. And Jake has no problem agreeing to that. And, they're driving, and Alan's talking about the guy in front of them who's not driving, even though the light is green. What is the matter with this guy? Looks like he's coming to tell you. And Charlie pretends he's going to go with Alan to fight the bully. 2 against 1 wouldn't be fair. It's only for emergencies. And Alan's like being dragged. He's thrown onto the windshield and being dragged off. Help! I think this qualifies. Great choreography on Alan being beaten up in front of the car. Yeah, I guess this is also an outside scene. At least the parts. I don't know. I guess it could be a soundstage, but obviously the earlier stuff with the bus couldn't possibly have been a soundstage. That's definitely not. Yeah. I would almost bet money on it. I mean, it's not very frequent for a sitcom at all to have outside scenes, is it? Like, I mean, scenes that are not necessarily on a set, sure, but outside, there's a lot of stuff that you have to deal with, especially in the modern day. Not that they made sitcoms before the modern day, but I think you get my point. I'm gonna run out of different ways to say drift and point. Yeah. And it's the same doctor, but now he knows that Alan is a Harper and not Matthew Broderick. Help me, my balls are on fire. I'm sorry, I couldn't get... I'd try again, but I'm never going to be able to get through the entire line without... Yeah. Lucky bastard. I wish my balls hurt more. You seem to be implying that you're not just going to steal from him. Steal it from him. At least some of it. Another great season opener. We're 5 for 5. And this is no longer relevant. Okay. So. Media room / dungeon. And just 1 second, I just gotta make sure if the Alt tab is intending to work at all. Okay. There we go. Making sure that it's not going to suddenly reboot on me. I swear, this laptop, there's always some kind of update that it has to download. I think a bunch of them it just doesn't get properly. It's from 2010 or something, I think. It's on loan. Right, so... I need to appear as if I have plans to. See, the kid knows how to do this. Now that's commitment. That's not commitment. That's lead paint in the nursery. God. We're going to a baseball game. We only have 3 tickets. I think his birthday was 3 months ago. We were waiting for Bobblehead Day. It's good for Jake to see other bobbleheads. And Jake talking about the baseball game. They're in San Francisco today. Yes, well, we better get going. And I think Evelyn is like, are you really going to keep lying to me? At this point, we're kind of committed. And Charlie's talking about sex dolls. I tried it once, but I prefer a real woman. And the girl is like, hello, good morning. And then she just vomits into the sink as if it's no big deal. Like she's just getting a glass of water or something. And Charlie finally agrees to go with Evelyn. Okay, but we're taking the town car because I'm not going sober. You really enjoy seeing me in pain, don't you? Well, yeah. Yippee-ki-yay, mother accompanier. And, there's Alan about Evelyn being a cranky drunk. Cranky? I got bitch slapped with my own 10-gallon hat. I really love Alan giving Charlie advice on this. This in general, I enjoyed when they give each other advice, even when it's like really mocking advice and, fake advice and such. Yeah, these are the good times. And Charlie's terrified that she's going to drink too much without eating saltines and that he'll end up carrying her shoes and massaging her feet. She's drinking, he's like, there any saltines around? And I think she says, my shoes. The important part, your shoes look great, especially on your feet. And the mob, oh, she's with the mob. They say she killed a writer just to make a point. What point? I can kill a writer. That's so freaking dark. That's like literally something out of The Godfather, and it's played for laughs, and it's really funny. And Evelyn gossips with Charlie, who eats it up. It's great watching you doing autopsies when I'm not the cadaver. And Evelyn just trying to sell a home. Kind of hard to put a good spin on media room/dungeon. Sharon, I've been rejected by 32 different women in my life. And you know what? It's never been me. Okay, it's you. Feel better? Actually, no. You know what they say about nice guys? I finish last. No, they finish in the shower. Hey, how are those feet feeling? Want to put these back on? Sharon feeling terrible after sex is so offensive and messed up. But so funny, and Janine Garofalo plays it perfectly. I think I've liked her in everything I've seen her in. I guess personally I'd say pretty much every comedian who appears in Cable Guy is funny, although Jim Carrey isn't all of the time. Not even all of the time. He's meant to be. But, Janine Garofalo and Can we get any utensils? There were no utensils in medieval times, hence there are no utensils at medieval times. Would you like a refill on your Pepsi? So there's no utensils, but there is Pepsi. Dude, I got a lot of tables. She's just so resigned. She knows the stupid, these things that she has to say, that they make her say, but she's completely given up on reciting them with any kind of passion. She just, yeah. Berta, you're a woman. Where are you going with this, Zippy? Alan and Berta are so confused about Charlie being happy to spend time with Evelyn. Mom is fun to spend time with. That has to be the creepiest thing I've ever heard. You know, I said the same thing to myself just a couple of minutes ago. Alan is so uncomfortable by Evelyn talking about sex with Teddy. And Alan, you know, and Evelyn and Charlie get along. Are you high? Maybe I'm high. I'm not asking as your mother, I'm asking as your friend. Love you, Charlie. See you, Alan. Hey, she's got the one good son, you know, 50-50, that's... Am I really the kind of person who would lie to his own mother for a meaningless one-night stand? Is that a rhetorical question? And Charlie walks right up and just drops the crumpled paper directly into the basket. I guess it's fate. And Charlie covers the image of her husband with a sock. And he keeps trying to figure out why, you know, this woman is cheating on her husband, trying to figure out, you know, he doesn't want to do it if it's like, you know, if there isn't a good reason for her to cheat. You know, he's clearly feeling kind of bad about it. Was he in some bizarre hunting accident? You know, fell crotch first into an open bear trap? If I nail this, then, you know, ditto. Are you crazy? I'm not going out the window. He's the next Marine. I'm going out the window. And then he hits the basket. Just, yeah. And Sharon mixed red wine with a dog's painkillers. And Charlie's hanging from the windowsill and pigeon lands on his head. She's not just my realtor, she's my friend. Oh, Mom. You'd be proud of me. I took the high road. Congratulations. It didn't matter. It rarely does. She's an evil genius, Alan. If she lived in Gotham, Batman would be toast. And... dum-diddy-dum-diddy-doo. That's it. Time to get a new kid. What's in the bag? A noose? I gotta get him here, then I gotta get him upstairs. Once I get him upstairs, I gotta get him to go home. It doesn't seem worth the effort. Wow. Darling, you've given me the happiest 20 years of my life. Why? Was she in a coma? And Charlie talks to the bird. I'd expected them to fly off after he said something stupid or something. We're on the train going under a tunnel. Sounds boring. It means what? No way! If I'm in the train, how can I be the train? And then, I don't know, it says, at least it's not the tunnel. Homophobia. And Alan keeps bragging that he got laid. Charlie Harper does not go on blind dates. Can't we ask him? Don't bother, I know what he'll say. Okay. Does he have to say it in the third person? And Diddy is so stupid. Is Charlie short for anything? Charles. That's not really shorter, is it? I gotta go. Why? Did you fart? Oh, God. Of course I'm nervous. What are we going to talk about? I haven't gone out with a 40-year-old woman since high school. And Charlie's scared that the blind date is too smart for him to lie to. Be yourself. And by yourself, I mean someone else entirely. And Alan gets Charlie to change his clothes for a date. And Charlie's still fixated on women's ears. That was wrong, wasn't it? Yes, that was wrong. I was expecting you more dry, but you're not. You're actually kind of moist. Oh, good lord. I've never met a judge before. You know, voluntarily. Better? Anything's better than moist. Why would I want an iced tea? Because you don't drink alcohol during the day. You may not want to drink the iced tea. It's because he knows their server or something like that. May I ask you something? What in God's name possessed you to talk about pornography? And Alan's talking about Charlie talking pornography on the date. It does not include your favorite actors, top 10 DVDs, and your beefs about the bonus features. Wow. Donna, will you please tell my brother what you just told me? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Linda didn't like me. Oh God, back to third person. And Alan talking to God. Sorry about the curse God stuff. But we both know I'm not your best work. Banging a judge won't get you out of jury duty. Believe me, I've tried. Should the joke maybe have been won't get you out of jail time? I guess, I mean, it's pretty funny that she'd be so desperate to get out of jury duty. I don't know. I like both jokes. Do they maybe do that joke with jail time later and I'm remembering it? I don't know. Keep shoveling. I've done things I'm not proud of. Why else would you videotape most of it? I never thought I'd see Charlie Harper on his knees. Yeah, figuratively. Just because she's smart and successful doesn't mean she's not damaged enough to go out with you. Thanks, Berta. That means a lot. Charles Harper, charged with drunken disorderly resisting arrest. Please tell me you did not get yourself arrested just so you could see me. And then he pretends that's why rather than, well, you know, he's Charlie. Of course he gets arrested. Have dinner with me. Otherwise, we're looking at a crime spree here. And Charlie pretends not to know the prostitute. And he doesn't know where his car is. And Alan finally gets enough of Jake on the phone with his girlfriend, tosses the cell phone out of the car window. I'd have kept the phone, tossed the kid. And City of Great Racks. Everybody needs a good tucking once in a while. Then go tuck yourself. I wasn't going for a laugh. And Charlie, after he thinks he saw Rose, I'm so backed up, I'm literally cockeyed. The reason guys say hot girl at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock is to specify a location using the clock face as a map. What if you have a digital watch? The clock face is imaginary. Then how do you know when you saw her? Wow. Charlie, of all the broads who've staggered bare-ass through these halls, Rose is the one that got to you. But did she have the foresight to line the insides of her gloves with hair collected from your shower drain? I don't know yet, we're going slow. Just do me a favor and make the first time at her place, because you're going to spring forth like a water wiggle. Wow. I like the montage. If you're doing laundry, all I can say is you're doing it wrong. And, Alan on the problem of taking the relationship with Donna up a notch. I'm out of notches. You need a younger man's penis. Yeah. Sorry, reverted to Danish briefly there. It's because, Charlie's like, what do you need? A younger man's penis. And talking about the nipple clamps. Don't those hurt? Yeah. Why don't you take them off? There's a penalty involved. Long story. I can tell you how it ends. What are you doing to the rose? I just don't want it looking at me. And Jake thinks you have to say racks rather than rack because there are two breasts. Santa Barbara? That's Spanish for City of Great Racks. I finally stepped up to the plate and I was swinging a garden hose. You happy? Well, I'm not sad. And, Alan's obsessing over what kind of dog Rose had. What does it matter? I like dogs. Maybe he misses Chester. Maybe that's why he's so obsessed. And then the therapist is also obsessed with the dog. So you're seeing people who aren't there. They're there, but they're not who they are. Then who are they? I don't know who they are, but they all look like Rose, your stalker. Well, that's kind of harsh. I've never done a judge before. From what you tell me, it sounds like you still haven't. Touche. Well, it pays to listen. Am I crazy? Pot kettle, Charlie. Am I gonna have to learn to shoot pool with a rope? Thanks for that disturbing image. Rose leaves the apartment. We see all the wigs left behind. And Rose owns Charlie. Oh no, this fits perfectly into my plan. How are things going with you and Donna? Fine, fine. And his nipples are all sore. Hey Dad, hot girl in a thong, what time is it? And Charlie really hadn't thought that Rose would want a commitment to come back. And of course her ideas of commitment are far too much for what he wants. Married? London? Kid? And let's see. And there's, on the DVD, there is a DVD extra for this, that's about this particular episode. 2.5 Men at 100, I think it's called. And Charlie Sheen talks about the comedy comes from the characters rather than other comedies that put the characters in situations and then expect you to laugh at them. And Conchata Farrell says, our bottom line is we're funny. We're just funny. She's as confident as her character is. And Maren Hinkle, if that's how you pronounce it, who plays Judith, says, I think Charlie needs to do Judith. He's done everyone but his brother's ex. Berta did think he was in that one episode where she was living there while her house suffered water damage. Okay. Let's see. Putting swim fins on a cat. I love Alan's confused face about the bills when Charlie doesn't take it seriously. Haven't you heard? The jingle business is dead. How would I hear that? Who would have told me? It was in all the jingle magazines. Before they went out of business. I love Alan's humming as he goes over the bills with the calculator. Alan, you can roll manure and powdered sugar, but it still ain't a donut. I hate manure. And, Bert is like, yeah, but you're not the one who takes a toothbrush to your kids' skivvies. For the record, it's not my toothbrush, right? Not right now, but cut my pay and all bets are off. I've known Charlie longer than you. Technically, that's not true. Are you gonna let me talk? I mean, technically, she's had a close relationship more recently with him for longer. His middle name isn't Roscoe. Charlie bought diamond earrings with money he doesn't have. And Jake keeps going over women Charlie dumped who broke his stuff. Earlier there was an episode where Alan went over things he had tried to, make up with Judith, must be, right? Because nobody else wants him, or at least wanted him before the divorce. And, Charlie was like, I think it was a waffle iron that he specifically, so, I don't know, does that mean that in the meantime between the two, Charlie has tried that a bunch of times despite Alan's advice? I guess that's possible, yeah. And, Alan's talking to Judith about, it might, what was it, like, I might be homeless soon or something like that. And she's like, well, you can't live here. No, that's not what I was getting at. But it's good to know that door's firmly closed. You want to cut my child support? Technically, it's Jake's child support, hence the term child. But I just thought maybe we could make some trims. For instance, the karate classes, the archery lessons, the algebra tutor. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've never seen him break a board or string a bow. And the algebra tutor, who would be kidding? That's like putting swim fins on a cat. I have a nephew about your age. Yeah, give or take a decade. And Charlie sings to Linda's kid, Brandon. And Evelyn is dressed as a Catholic schoolgirl, and Alan just can't talk to her. I'm ready for my punishment, headmaster. Don't feel bad. I can always undo my pants either. This is one of the first times that Charlie can actually come up with new melodies on the fly instead of writing lyrics to old melodies. I mean, the one about Who Cut the Cheese, that was one he already came up with earlier, and maybe that one took a while. But he seems to come up with I think, is it that he wants him to eat his peas or something like that? Seems to come up with that one immediately. At least I don't recognize it as being some other song, but I'm not really a music person. Hey, I'm the only one who gets to pee on my feet. And, Charlie enters his house, Brandon. Berta, look what I've got. Big deal, it's a freaking miracle, you don't have 10 of them. I helped him eat his vegetables and go pee-pee on the toilet. So do as I say, not as I do. That is so many side effects. How much does it pay? $1,000 a week. I'm in. He doesn't hesitate at all. You can see how these songs that Charlie writes, in case of Who Got the Cheese just performs in this episode, would appeal to kids. A clump of hair is already coming off Alan's head. I don't think I'm in the control group. My hair is coming out, I'm having fainting spells, I can see my heart beating through my shirt, and my poop looks like charcoal briquettes. Something will turn up. Something already has already turned up. I'm pretty sure I've dropped the third testicle. And, Alan doesn't want to talk to Linda's ex. Charlie doesn't want to either. Oh, come on, you've got 30% more balls than I do. And Charlie starts writing children's songs professionally. I'm really glad that isn't only in this episode. They have so much fun with it. And Alan faints and then shakes. Help Daddy find his toenail. Let's see. Berta and Jake do a new version of Who's On First? Or Who's On First? How are you? I'm not sure where the tension is supposed to be. And I work for your family. What's patricide? It means honor your father. And that line makes no sense. Well, I'm still trying to figure out what a studio is. And Jake's talking about the kid he wants to drive them. He's never been in an accident that was his fault. That's it, just no. I'm sorry, no way in hell. Yeah, okay, you got me. But you can't argue with the logic. And Charlie wasn't invited by Linda to her function. That's gotta sting. You know what? I agree with Jake. You do suck. And Charlie confronts Linda. Please come with me. Okay, but then we gotta talk about this banquet thing. Alan, what happened to Dad? He turned into Benito Mussolini, the San Francisco treat. And Evelyn completely undermines Alan's authority. Evelyn snorts, and then Alan snorts, and the Jake, according to the subtitles, roars. I don't know exactly what I'd say it is. You sound like you're coughing up a fur ball. I was not put on this earth to help you, Alan. You're my mother. Yes, and as you never tire of pointing out, not a very good one. And Evelyn realizes she gave Charlie the wrong pill. Guess I'll have to watch my DVD of Fantasia on the Natch tonight. I get why you'd want to, be on something for watching that, but come on, that movie is great. If you can't watch that without being on something, you're really missing out. And Charlie's seeing a rainbow of colors in his champagne, and then he downs it just once. I'm going to the emergency room. No, I have to take Jake with me so we can go in the carpool lane. Jake, help Daddy find his toenail. And then he really does stub his toe. I think that's karma or poetic justice, something like that. And Charlie's at the Linda's function. I'm hitting that. I kind of feel like maybe there should have been more of us seeing Charlie be embarrassing at the function. Did they just not have that many ideas for it? I don't know. Seems like the kind of thing you could really milk, is what I mean. If you catch my drifting point. If you run out, you gotta start combining. Why are you sitting out here? I can't stand up. Don't make a thing of it. Hey, I'm caroling here. You should bring me cocoa and gingerbread. Cocoa and gingerbread? Yeah, they work at the Spearmint Rhino. If I know your dad, he's about to tie your leg to a rock and throw you in the ocean. What? Sorry, I may have put the idea in his head. Charlie is so out of it, it's hilarious. And he keeps thinking Alan's berating him, not Jake. Like, go to your room, and I can't believe you did this tonight. And, Patricide, huh? Our little boy's growing up. Did I get married? Jake about driving to the concert. It wasn't a car, Dad. It was an extremely safe monster truck. I mean, even if Rocco hit another car, he'd just crush it. And, Judith seems to be supporting Alan in, yelling at Jake over leaving. And then, with Jake out of earshot, Judith's like, you just told him what he was supposed to do and you thought he was going to do it? You are useless, Alan slams the door and he walks off. And then he catches Jake climbing out of his window at Judith's place. Come with me. Where are we going? You're going back to your room, but I'm going to the sweet land of vindication. And Charlie's talking about the pill Evelyn gave. Now I'm thinking it's something she had left over from Woodstock. And, Charlie's like, come on, all the male politicians are having, someone on the side, and so why shouldn't you have me on the side? It would send a powerful message to young women everywhere. Bailiff, I'm going. Nice flowers, Charlie. Want to stick them in something? Never mind. And, Charlie can still become a children's song artist since that wasn't Linda, that was her ex. And, I mean, if they broke up, there are things they don't agree about. So his career choices wouldn't necessarily. It's possible that the ex, hears about that and he's like, yes, got her again. I can really make it sting by making him famous for, yeah. Our leather gear is in the guest room. Hard to punish him for telling the truth. Wait till he tries the underwear I bought. And Charlie hates the bowl. You call this decor? What would you call it? Random crapola. You could open a TGI Fridays. Excuse me. So I can't have one stupid thing in this house. Hey, leave Jake out of this. They've had the lamp for 2 years and Charlie only noticed it recently. And, they reupholstered the couch and it was gone for a month. And then, Charlie's angry about it. Every stain had a story behind it. Yuck. And get rid of that welcome mat you put on my front porch. No one's welcome here. And, Charlie's trying to get this woman to bed, and then he sees that Alan has put the bowl back. And he immediately, he goes out of character from this sweet, sensitive guy that he's been, Butterscotch candies. In about 30 seconds, they're going to be butterscotch suppositories. First, Charlie empties the bowl over Alan's head, and then he puts the bowl on as a hat. There is no voting. You're just a freeloader, and she's just some one-night stand that I picked up at a bar. Oh, damn. You know what the worst part is? I actually believed the things you said. You're kidding. Now, it's rubble from the island of Macau. I heard something break, and you're just coming out now? I was establishing my alibi. We're leaving, but I have an alibi. And this is the second time Alan tries to stop living with Charlie. Is that all it takes to get you to stay? Yes. Bye-bye. How come when I don't want to talk about stuff, we still have to talk about it? If you're too cheap for a hotel, I call the back seat. And Alan has to slap the back of Jake's head to get him to go along with it in front of the camera in front of Evelyn's place. So this is about a bowl. That's the least of our problems. All of our leather gear's in the guest room. So you can't think for even a second that I might want to hide a bed. Of course not. She's not worried about what happened to Alan. What's worse than money and women? He bought an ugly bowl and put it on the front table. No. Dear God. What kind of candy? Butterscotch. I mean, that son of a bitch. I don't pay you to mock me, Charlie. You'd have to pay me not to. And, Jake doesn't like any of the, I think, foods. I'm sorry, honey. If I knew you'd have come, I'd have stocked up on crap. Maybe we can go crap shopping later. I'm just going through an awkward phase. You hope. Teddy talking to Alan is kind of sweet. That's how I felt about my brother Artie. Thought his name was Scotty. I had 2 brothers. This time Berta doesn't try to move into the guest room. How are you? Better now. Charlie? Introduce us, you porkhead. And now Teddy has a younger brother, Scotty. So the sweet moment earlier was set up for this. And for, him forgetting the brother's name as well. That's your Uncle Charlie at 17 in front of the Beverly Hills courthouse. What's he so happy about? Being tried as a minor. And Evelyn keeps trying to talk to Jake about lesbianism. And Evelyn tries moving in with Charlie because she had a fight with Teddy. And in the next scene, she threatens with moving in by raising the bag demonstratively so that he'll take Alan back by sucking up to him. And Charlie put a pool table and other things in the guest room and starts singing My House after Alan sung Our House. Is there a Mrs. Waffles? I'm sorry, Mom, I love you. Did he dream that he, killed her or something? And then he's... What did he dream? That's really messed up. It has to be better than my dream. It's Dad's magazine. Of course they suck. They're children's songs. In general, of course it sucks. It's made for kids. I really love the titles of the children's songs that run on TV. When did you become the king of children's songs? When did you become the Federal Trade Commission? I love Alan's disbelief at the ad. And the scratch and sniff smells like honey. What, they couldn't make it smell like bourbon? The woman walked right past Charlie, not recognizing him. There's about to be a vomit spill on aisle 3. And Charlie pretends he doesn't know Alan. And Charlie's using the kid songs to pick up chicks. I told you I had to pick something up. Pretty catchy, huh? So's gonorrhea. You want to talk to me about toiling away in poverty-stricken anonymity? Right, you've got it worse than I. Whoa, I wouldn't go that far. Do you have any shame? No, why? They've got bookstores just for kids? Who knew? Everyone but you. Everyone on the helicopter. Everyone off the helicopter. Here, put this in the Mommy and Me pile. Wow. it would appear he's displeased with the latest golden nugget to fall out of his ass. The gold's gonna keep coming if I have to get it myself. Wow. And Alan about why Charlie wasn't in a rock band. He just figured you're already getting laid so much, being in a rock band would be redundant. And Alan laughs uproariously. It's show business, Alan. You don't tell people the truth. What are you gonna do to me? Really? Can he sue me? Did you sign a contract? See you at 11. Who goes to concerts at 11 a.m.? All right. Stupid kids. That's not good for his image. That was just a cheap shot. I take him when I get him. You keep pitching me fat ones. If you knew the answer, why'd you ask the question? Could it be a box with a guest room? You can't sue if he just stinks, right? And Charlie's so drunk he falls over, and the kids laugh, and he burps, they laugh. Good child extras, good energy on them. I mean, a lot of the time, people don't really care about that kind of thing for the. Doesn't it bother you that he's loaded? He's a musician. It would bother me if he wasn't. I want to make clear, I'm not trying to make fun of like Richard Kind's, I mimic it somewhat, but I'm not trying to make fun of him. I love Richard Kind. He's hilarious. He was great on Scrubs when, Dr. Cox is, he's like, Dr. Cox, Mengele. And Charlie sings, I love boobies instead of bye bye boobies. Time to butter up the old waffle. And Ellen is so depressed. And that brings us nicely to Tight's good. A poor clueless bastard. It's like watching a dog stick his head in a fan. You don't do that more than once. And let's see. And they discuss how to get out of it. We wish you a lifetime of happiness, don't we, Charlie? Well, yeah, but he seems hell-bent on marrying Mom. Jenny McCarthy is incredibly attractive, and in this she gives a really good performance. Too bad she's an anti-vaxxer. I mean, I've seen her in stuff where she's supposed to be, she I don't know if she still does, but around this time, in the mid to late 2000s, she played the kind of just bimbo type role in a bunch of things, and some of the time she's good, but not always. I remember her as being pretty good in Scary Movie 3, but I don't think I've watched that for some years now. I mean, that movie has moments which, I don't know, I mean, I guess the first two did, but I don't know. I mean, as long as I don't ever have to watch the second one again, that movie is truly dreadful. Now, I like to give Courtney a house. Courtney, you have impeccable posture. Do you see a chiropractor? No. Would you like to? Suddenly he's smooth. I need you to do something for me. Name it. Stay away from my daughter. Name something else. You know what they say about assuming? When you assume, you're just a bitch. Courtney flirts a lot with Charlie. And you just made me look stupid. Don't blame your father for that. I haven't mentioned it before now, but that fade between child Jake and teenage Jake at the end of them lip syncing the theme is creepy. I forget if they at some point just film. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible that they filmed the entire thing, and just decided to use only the end for it, either before or after filming it. I don't know, but yeah, it's just. I mean, people age, but it's supposed to go that quickly and creepily. So that bounces the hammer. I had no idea you were planning to fake a migraine to get out of the party too. What did you do? Oh, menstrual cramps. I can't get away with that. Yes, if there's one thing that guys are frustrated about when it comes to the differences between the two genders, between men and women, it's definitely not having menstrual cramps. I'll come take a peek. First a peek, then a poke. Did Teddy tell you to stay away from his daughter too? Yeah, why would he? And yeah, continued from the first scene. Everything Courtney says to Charlie is a double entendre for sex with her. You don't need a stick, and yet I've got one anyway. Is that your cell phone? Boy, I hope so. Hey, your dad loves you. He's just trying to protect you from, well, in this case, me. I think I should probably get out before I set off the airbag. Then she leaned over me and started playing with the paddles. The paddles? The paddles on the steering wheel. Oh, I had another picture entirely. Excuse me. And Alan asks why Charlie will have sex with his acquaintances, but not Teddy's acquaintances. I like Teddy. Huh, I guess you could use that stuff for earthquakes. Water, batteries, and rope. And Alan answers the door to Evelyn and Teddy. Oh, crap. Misdirected anger, you get used to it. When you get laid, I get screwed. He's 40 years old. He has no more wild oats. Just warmed over wheat. Do you have one of the little Pop-Tarts up there? No, just my alarm. If I'm not up by 4, I feel like I've wasted the whole day. And Courtney insists she really wants to sell him a car. This is no way to treat family. If you only knew. And Charlie has to run back up and face the music, as it were. I don't use the snooze button. When I'm up, I'm up. Of course, I'm not a drunk. You know, this is the most I've ever spent for sex. But not by much. We'll see you at the wedding. Charlie, the wedding isn't for 6 months. Yeah, but it's bad luck to see the bride before then. And then we realized Teddy wasn't trying to protect Charlie from getting screwed. He was trying to protect Charlie from getting screwed, not his daughter. Yeah. See, this episode, it makes a lot of sense as setup for them being con men. You know, the Teddy's con is getting with Evelyn, whereas whereas Courtney will flirt with someone, try to sleep with them, and then try to sell them a car because she has gotten them into a really bad position, such as, you know, them promising. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's their thing, you know. Teddy will marry a woman and then later take her for all she's got, and Courtney will get with one of the sons of that woman, whilst Teddy is saying you have to stay away from her, so that, you know, if Teddy hadn't told Charlie you have to stay away from my daughter, Charlie would have just said, oh, that's just Courtney up there, you know, I'll go tell her to shut off the music, you know. But because, yeah. And that brings us to Kind of like necrophilia. Alan looks priceless in his biking gear. Are you a friend of Charlie's? I'm his brother, so no. Gabrielle's French accent is funny. You should see her naked. Can I? Well, I can show you some pictures, but you may not want to see that much of me. Everyone's good at something. You, for instance, have no shame. Charlie, this is what they wear in the Tour de France. No, I just took the Tour de France and all I had on was a smile and a condom. No one knows more about getting dumped than you. I'm sorry, that didn't come out how I meant it. How did you mean it? Couldn't you just take the I'm sorry? Couldn't you have just loved me? It just kind of happened. Yeah, I know how that is. You wake up in the morning and there she is. Shut up, I know that was wrong. Charlie hugs the bag of cookies when he hears Alan groan, thinking Jake is around, about to eat them. Come on, your life turned out great. Well, it wouldn't have turned out any better. Good thinking. Call your high school girlfriend drunk at 2 a.m. in the morning. Why don't you expose yourself to a policewoman? Some people do that. When are they gonna invent a phone with a breathalyzer lock? Yeah, really. Phone, computer that has any kind of messaging, email, whatever. Certain doors. Whoever invents a breathalyzer lock for those things is going to be wealthy, loaded, rich. He's going to have all that in a bag of cats in water? I forget the saying. Yeah, I know it's late. I know I'm drunk. And Charlie is gone and left the bag of cookies and drives away. We hear the car engine off screen driving away. Yeah. So he found a stash, huh? Okay, just for the record, that stuff's medicinal. I got glaucoma. What are you talking about? Nothing. Oh, so you're saying I took something that belonged to you and you're upset. Oh. You stole her right out from under me. He's speaking metaphorically, right? I hope so. So are we good? No, we're not good. We suck. You betrayed me. Betrayal. Betrayed me. Sounds like he's going for a bike ride. Uncle Charlie's a genius, in a sense. But there's book smart and nook smart. Why is Uncle Charlie a genius? Because he never got married. That's gonna come back to bite me in the ass. And then there's a knock on the door. Here comes Jaws a-snapping. First his cookies, now his croissant. And, Gabrielle, when Charlie catches her with Alan. Oh dear, this is so difficult. No, it's not. Tell him. I can't. I can. She dumped you for me. Ha ha. Yes, I did. I snaked her. Like a cobra. Chow. Son of a bitch, he took it away from me. I feel terrible. I did the worst thing I could do. I lowered myself to your level. And he bought 3 bags of cookies and cheese pizzas, extra large cheese pizzas, of Granny's Crunch Fudge Nuggets, I think it's, yeah. She's not a lawnmower you borrowed. You can't just hose off the blades and give her back. So what's the catch? The catch? I don't know what you're talking about. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? You know, like the song? Could you smile? Better? Actually worse, could you close your eyes again? She smiles like Wednesday Addams. Where are you going? I have to brush my teeth. The bathroom is that way. Yeah, but my toothbrush is at home. Bye-bye. And Charlie did have sex with her, even though he compares it to necrophilia. Another episode where Charlie wins. I love this episode, but I do think it's especially funny when Alan wins or Charlie loses, but Charlie did kind of lose last episode to Courtney, having to spend all that money. Does he get that? He doesn't get that back once she's put in jail, does he? Because he still did, you know, he bought a car fair and square. Does he get the $50,000 back that he gave her in that episode? Or the episode leading up, something like that. Meander to your dander. Go. Or did they actually, I don't know exactly when you write these things, did they write in the con job stuff when they got to writing the episode and they wrote them all at the same time? Now, don't they write them as the, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. Well, that was just lovely. I aim to please. After last time, I appreciate the aiming. And wow, I get more tongue from my butcher. I want, you know, it's about him not saying anything to make it clear he was there watching. I wanted to vomit, but I was afraid I might break the mood. Alan is desperately trying to convince Charlie and himself that the sex was good. I like the jungle metaphor. This conversation is over. If only. Excuse me. And let's see, this should work. And until I'm looking at divorce papers on the pointy end of a steak knife. As always, you're entitled to your stupid opinion. But why are you making it personal? I didn't make it personal. And Charlie hits Jake through the pillow to prove that it still hurt. What's going on? Uncle Charlie hit me. Good. I am incapable of rejecting another human being. Wow. I think after all these years you'd want to get even. Even with a mask and a cape, the sex was still mundane. A mask and a cape and the sex was still boring? What can I say? She still knew it was me. Of course Charlie couldn't let that one go. There will be other broads to share your bratwurst with. And Alan thinks of the fondue as a possible weapon, takes the bat outside. And Jake doesn't get Jaws, of course, and prefers Snakes on a Plane, which he thinks is a classic. Where are we going? Someplace public where me killing you would be noticed and discouraged. Uh-oh. The potpourri. And Alan talking about the coffee, thinking of it as possible. Oh my, that is potentially scalding. Blow on it, silly. You blow too. And now that Donna seemingly wants to break up, Alan tries to prolong the relationship almost by reflex. He's so used to getting dumped. Call it what you want. Tried and true, dull and listless. I want to call it tried and true. And then Alan accidentally makes Donna spill coffee on his lap, and she then pours cold water down his pants. What about her mom? Stick with the daughter for now. And Charlie wants to give Jake a signal once it's time for him to go to the table, and how about I give you a thumbs up? How about I wave my arms in the air and shout, "Yo, dumbass"? Let's go with a thumb. And Jake keeps thinking that he's supposed to come over, and Charlie keeps having to say no to that. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's still we're probably supposed to think that the mother is being, overly sensitive or something. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, she says this is time my daughter and I spend together, and she does not want to. Yeah, she wants to spend the time together with her, and obviously Charlie should respect that. And I really do love that, because he's such a pushy a-hole. Yeah, he gets maced. Now, the thing with, wouldn't your daughter rather spend time around my nephew, instead of us couple of old farts? What did you call me? I didn't call you anything. I was just being funny. I don't think you're funny at all. That is badass. I hope every woman in that situation has the confidence to tell him off like that. And the mother sends the daughter over for a refreshment. Charlie sends Jake over to her for refreshment. He doesn't realize what's about to happen, why she sent the daughter away. And really, I mean, what I love about the joke is we, the audience, we can tell what she's doing. We pick up on it immediately. We know she did not send the daughter over for refreshment just, she did not send her daughter over so that Jake could spend time with her daughter. That was not it. And she did not, she's not like trying to help Charlie out here, and as Charlie's like, "Yo, dumbass, go over, get a refreshment," and then he turns back. I really appreciate, starts to say, "I really appreciate you doing this for him." And all the while he's doing that, we see her, she's opening her purse, reaching down, grabbing what is clearly pepper spray, and is there a thing, I think a thing at the top you maybe have to pull, I don't know, she readies it somehow, and turns it towards him, and just as Charlie turns back, I really appreciate it. Oh god, it's worse than the potpourri. Oh god, because he's turned away, he's focusing on something else. As she says, she did warn him. It's not like he said one thing to her and immediately, no, he kept doing it when she kept saying, she started out incredibly polite and just, I'm sorry, this is kind of the time that me and her spend together, she does not, she's really trying to be nice, and he just will not accept that this is not, yeah. And suddenly Jake is smooth, with Charlie on the floor screaming in pain. "I see you picked the Diet Cola. If I may say so, you don't need to watch your weight." And she blushes. If not for the pepper spray in his eyes, this would have gone great. I absolutely love that. They could so easily have had Jake still be really awkward, but no, oh, sorry, I'm thinking of an episode later in this season. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this season, yeah. When you watch them all in a row with no real break between one season and the next, they start to run together, yeah. If you point to my drift that you can catch. And, Donna gets out a Zippo lighter, and Alan hears the distinct metallic click, he thought it was a gun, and he, just like Charlie said, gets down on the floor and zigzags towards the door. And then he realizes, and she's just standing there. What are you doing? And then by this point, Alan fully breaks up with Donna because he thought that she was trying to break up, and so he tries to make it, he tries to be very direct about it by saying, I no longer have any romantic feelings for you. And turns out, Donna wanted a threesome, and Alan tries to save it and starts sobbing when he realizes he can't. And next scene, he's wearing an ice pack on his groin. Charlie has a cloth over his eyes. You blew the best night of your life. No, the best night of my life was the night Jake was born. You had a three-way the night Jake was born? Okay, I blew the best night of my life. And a little Clammy and none too fresh. I hope I'm not coming down with something. And then Charlie picks her up, places her on the bed. You think you might be? I feel congested. I think it's settling in my chest. Okay, sorry, that's way more than she... Anyway. That's certainly where I was planning to settle. You are going to need to breathe through your nose. Jake really does not want to spend time with Alan. And Alan won't help Charlie when he's sick. I caught something. There's a surprise. And Berta won't help Charlie either. I think this is a pretty good place to time the for 3, 2, 1. I think this is a pretty good place and time to say something that I meant to voice type, and I hope I don't forget. I want to voice type it into the review notes as well, because it bears repeating. It's worth saying there as well. Pretty sure I didn't voice type it into this or that. Whenever the voice typing, for whatever reason, cannot understand the word Berta. No matter how much I try to enunciate, it will not voice type Berta. Which means that whenever I have to write in, someone referring to Berta directly by name, or a line spoken by Berta, so that I know when I read it out loud that that's the character, I have to type it with my fingers, which is otherwise, that's like 1% of the typing is with my fingers. Pretty much just, okay, it's not that little, but I keep it as low a percentage as at all possible. Tennis elbow, for those who don't know. And I am always incredibly happy to realize, yes, I need to manually type in Berta, because I'm not sure there's a single joke, either that where she has a line or where someone refers to her by name, that I don't love. And Charlie calls his mother as a last resort. And Charlie wheezes and coughs and decides against fresh air. And Rose appears, and Charlie wonders if he's hallucinating. She climbs onto the deck as usual. Rose? I thought you were in England. I was asked to leave. A little misunderstanding at Buckingham Palace. This was the perfect way to bring Rose back to Charlie's place. This is not the first episode in this season where she appears, but in that episode she was in London, and he went to London to be with her, and then he went back from London when he realized that she wanted real commitment. What finger does that ring go on, Charlie? And I'm not sure it's said in this entire season, but I guess she just moved back to her old place. I guess it hadn't been sold or something. I still have no idea why. Did the actress maybe not want to be on the show anymore? Did she not want to be a regular? Was there a period of this season where they felt they needed to write her out? Because they wrote her out late in last season, and then here, what is this? The last less than the second half of this season, and she appears in a couple of episodes after this one. I think there's at least one more after this one. Yeah, when Alan's waiting for prostitute. Yeah, so and she behaves as if she never went to London. Basically, everything's back to normal. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't read anything, but I haven't read everything on the Wikipedia since I haven't watched all the episodes, and I don't want to be spoiled. But yeah, I am so happy they did this episode. It's one of my favorites that she plays a big part in. He comes down with something, and she appears as the knight in shining armor. It helps that he's already barely able to do anything, and no one else will help him. And literally having her intro make us wonder if he's genuinely hallucinating is perfect. Just because the lighting's a little, and he's just completely just, and she crawls up, and it's like, when someone comes back from another country, you don't expect them to behave exactly as if nothing has happened. There's some chance that if he didn't ask why, he asked, "I thought you were in London," and then she says, "I was asked to leave." If he hadn't asked, I get the feeling that she might not even have brought it up. Like, she's not like, "Hi Charlie, I'm back from London, I just got back," or something. She appears, even though she's, Rose finally gets him into the kind of position she wants. He is completely dependent on her. She controls his life. And this is an episode that they wouldn't have made in, I don't know, maybe last season, but not like way back in earlier season. This is literally, a stalker is literally drugging her prey, being aided by his family. This is literally the stuff of psychological horror movies. It's Stephen King's Misery. It's the same kind of psychological horror of like Rosemary's Baby. You feel like you're losing your mind, you're losing control of your own body, and the people closest to you, they don't believe you, and they keep helping, and it's all played for laughs. I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite episodes of the show, of any sitcom ever. I love soup. I asked everybody to make soup. You'd think I was asking for a kidney. And Rose gives Charlie a pill and insists one's enough for now. And then she gets in bed with him, and she sounds like she's hypnotizing him, influencing him. Till death do us part. I'm gonna need another pill. That was one step too far. Because basically, she's saying things, and he's repeating, like how, oh, we're going to be together, and yeah. Alan tries to be understanding with Jake, who just scoffs and leaves. And Alan immediately accepts Rose taking care of Charlie. "Don't worry, Berta, I love taking care of him." Well, that's good, because nobody else wants to. Feeding him, changing him, cleaning him. You're changing him? You're cleaning him? If you stop feeding him, you won't have to change him. So you go to movies with anyone but me. Not anybody. I wouldn't go with Hitler. Yeah. He always talks during the movie. It's so obnoxious. Rose insists on helping Charlie pee. And another great montage. Cherry's like a baby, needing her help with everything. And we see her knitting, and then we see the really long scarf she knit from, she's spent forever just sitting by the bed, waiting for the next time he needed her, and knitting all along. And he's also wearing knit booties. Yeah, sorry, that's how you find out. He wakes up and he's wearing it, that's it. And Alan is obsessed about how Jake won't go to the movies with him. Clearly Charlie's in trouble because of Rose, and he just won't listen. I'm starting to think those pills are what they give elephants when they need to sleep. European elephants. And Alan helps Rose calm down Charlie, not listening to him. This part especially, very Rosemary's Baby. So, does a guy have to be sick around here to get some of those knit booties? Let's see. Yeah, and isn't this also where, like, you know, yeah, Charlie climbs down, Alan's on the toilet. I don't know how much time I have. Me neither. I've already had my second cup of coffee, and after and Rose comes in, still acting like Alan isn't on the bathroom, and like, let's see, and then they leave, and then Jake like opens the door. Hey, can we go to the movies? Jake, right now? You're sitting there with the listings. Jake, I swear to God. Okay, fine, but don't say I never ask. Charlie is not bad at this whole stealth video game thing. When he makes too much noise, he makes sure to hide. He blocks her entry to give himself more time. Rose is out. Out of what? Her freaking mind? Charlie, I do all this for you, and this is how you act. Yes, this is how I act. Playing Anne Frank in the bathtub. I am not promising Nurse Ratched anything. Nurse Ratched here, anything. He's implying that she will give him, she either did or will give him a lobotomy. Oh, sorry, yeah, this is when. Fine, if I'm not wanted, I will leave. You're not leaving. I was bluffing. This is when Jake walks in on Alan. Everyone walks in on Alan. Don't say I never ask. I have proof. And then they walk up and Berta's lying there just completely knocked out. She took the pill Rose gave him. She found it while changing the sheets or something. And then we realize Rose really did plan giving Charlie a sickness. And she knows what sicknesses he's had. And she's reading, what's it called? Ferret's Fancy or something like that. So she still has the 5 ferrets named Charlie. I guess did she have someone take care of them while she was in London? Did she take them to London? Did she have the taxpayers pay as she took her pet rabbit to another, flying? And this is not the first time Rose put a tattoo on Charlie's body. And let's see. The soil is moist. I don't understand people who hate the word moist. I think it's an awesome word. It's a hilarious word. Let's see. There's that College Humor sketch where it's like, the grossest words. I agree with some of those words, but yeah, the word moist. But that is a pretty good sketch. I don't love gross out comedy, but it's pretty good. It was rated R, but there wasn't a single boob in it. Jake, that's why you look up the IMDb content advisory. What do you think the MPAA gives descriptive ratings for? Wait a minute, we're allowed to take sides? Nobody told me. Is it too late? That's not funny, Charlie. He's very hurtful to everybody, and for no reason. Isn't that like soccer mom talk for Doomy in the cul-de-sac? And Jake is eating something he just found on the table. Don't worry, I'm eating away from the bite marks. Puberty, my ass, that's a missing chromosome. No, I'm pretty sure it's a bear claw. Alan, did you let him eat a lot of crap? Let him? Judith, our son is a billy goat. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in there pooping out tin cans. And Charlie's talking about her. Of all of Judith's husbands, he's my favorite one of all. No, you can be funny, but not smart or good looking. I wouldn't want your banana to get freckled. It's, why is he wearing that dorky hat? I don't think Charlie says it's a dorky hat, but, if I don't wear it, I freckle like a banana. I love Ryan Stiles when he's all like, cheery and, does anyone want ice cream? I have to check if the soil is moist. And how do you do that, Herb? I just stick my finger into old Mother Earth. And what do you do if it is moist? I just whip out my hose and spray everywhere. And then I spread the seed very carefully. Why carefully? If we spill it everywhere, it gets wasted. And how do you feel about bushes? I like a full bush, the way God intended. Herb just keeps unintentionally talking in sexual metaphor. And Judith will find out. Are you going to tell her? No. Would you? What if I don't have an A game? You better find one, because you don't want to get yanked off the mound. And yeah. And Alan is literally imagining, Judith sitting right there. Go ahead. I'm going to be watching every move you make. You are remarkable. Remarkable good, right? And he's like, oh yeah. And then look, Judith, and she won't tell Judith that he's remarkable. And Alan calls Herb Big Bird. And now Herb's an amazing lover. He used to have to be given directions. I guess, we find out later in this episode it's because he's great at oral. And earlier they were like, she only likes the one sexual position, so maybe she wasn't giving him a chance to perform oral. You're so much better than the only other man I've ever had. Has Alan forgotten that she did have sex after they got divorced before she married Herb? One time when Alan and Judith tried to get back together, she had learned a bunch of new stuff. Best she's ever had. And he's sitting there like Hugh Melnick. We had sex. Then why the long face, Seabiscuit? And Alan can't stop imagining Judith and Herb getting it on. He accidentally sits right next to them on the couch. And then at one point he's like, oh, get a room. Alan, they talk about, when our whole marriage, the sex was mediocre. And why'd you get married? Weren't you listening? We were having sex. You're telling me Farmer Herb's tilling soil you couldn't even get your hoe into. And it's bothering you that night after night he's planting tree in Israel. And by Israel, I mean Judith. And by tree, I mean, maybe he's got a big trouser monkey. If everything else is proportional, I bet he could ring doorbells with that thing. Now there's an image. On Whose Line Is It Anyway, they make fun of Ryan Stiles for being tall and lanky. I bet he liked this kind of, them commenting on his looks quite a bit more. And, Cynthia and Alan are in bed, and, Alan looks over and imagines Judith and Herb right there, and Herb's like, hey, buddy. Even in that situation, he's just nice and, could he put a hat on that thing and drive in the carpool lane? I can't wrap my head around Herb's penis. And, he's leaving Cynthia's, and, okay, so you guys at home, they're still imagining them right there. And now they try to figure out if he really does have a big penis by staring at his pants. I didn't see anything, did you? Nothing jumped out at me. And now Cynthia did talk to Judith. And did she mention the word remarkable? No, but she did say she thought you maybe weren't over me. Hey Judith, what's the deal with Herb's junk? What? Sometimes you just gotta ask. And, you know, and in the final scene, both Alan and Charlie try to practice the seed spitting thing that they saw him do to get better. Good for you. Never too late to learn. And then, like, he starts choking on it. And Winky-Dink Time. There we go. One of my absolute favorite episodes. More detail at the end of this section. I'm telling you, man, one of these days that kid's gonna fart and birds are gonna fall out of the sky. Hey, you don't have to sell me on this. I just never pictured you doing something like this. What can I get in the $200 range? Crabs and carjacked. And $1,000 for 1 hour? I want sex, not surround sound. And try to get a non-smoker. Yeah, I would want a girl who would put one of those nasty things in her mouth. And Jake offers her some cake that he's clearly just been taking a bite out of. I don't need sugar. Me neither, unless it's like cakes and pies and stuff. Wow. That's called missing the point. Or the drift. Jake really does not do well with this girl. They are so different. Jeez, everybody wants me to pimp for them. They all have pretty names, Alan. You'll never meet a hooker named Maud. A credit card? Where are you planning to swipe it, Alan? Again, like, young, like, if you know, if a kid hears that, they're not necessarily going to understand. At least not a boy. But, yeah, we others, we know that that's, like, I mean, some women get very creative. Some have piercings, tattoos. I don't think any of them have one of those card reader machines down there. Should I mention your name when I call? Absolutely. For every referral, I get a free travel mug. Zippy's getting a hooker? Boy, talking about earning her money. Just remember, I'm doing you a favor. Don't forget it in a few years when I ask you to change my diaper. Okay. Wait, what? Just don't clock block me, okay? Clock block you? That's not it? No, that's not it. Jake really does look like a Mormon. Would it kill you to tuck your shirt in? I would, but I just sat in some Thousand Island dressing. Been there, done that. Again, Jake, he's clearly joking. He's clearly making fun. And Alan is so excited about the hooker coming over. And you know, he brings out he's carrying the greased oil thing, you know. And yeah, and he says Charlie thinks that it's a sex thing, and he's like, oh no, I'm gonna carb load for, you know, my 60-minute sprint. But good thinking. What's it? Clean living and kinky. Is it like parking at the mall? Parking at the mall. You know, if I go over the hour, do I have to pay for another hour? No, it's like a toll booth. At the end of the hour, the gate comes down and lops off your penis. Have fun. And Jake is obsessing over the idea of getting your ducks in a row. I swear to God, I will open the sunroof, pick you up with one hand, and throw you into the carpool lane. You know, there's no reason we couldn't be in the carpool lane. And Charlie starts to open the sunroof. And now he's obsessing over the saying, it would behoove you. Jake rules do make sense. If we're equals, does that mean you'll split the check with me? I knew you'd say that, Charlie. And, you know, Rose is at the door. Did Charlie put you up to this? Charlie didn't put me up to anything. Oh, so it's just a coincidence that I'm waiting for a prostitute and you show up at the front door. You're waiting for a prostitute? No. A lot of people masturbate, I hear. Really? I've heard them. See, now she's sounding exactly like old Rose. Have you tried switching hands? It's like being with a clumsy stranger. And Rose is so cordial with Alexis. Hi, I'm Rose. Hi, Rose. Will you be joining us? No, you'll just be doing Alan tonight. A lot of people find it kind of awkward to talk to a prostitute. It's been 12 years. And how old are you, Millie? 14. Thank heaven for the little girls. and then Millie's mother is like, you're exactly how I remember you. You too. I love Charlie repeatedly putting his foot in his mouth and having to walk back what he just said. He remembers nothing about this woman, and she really does think that he remembers everything. She's never like, you don't remember? She's always like, what do you mean? You must remember this, And, excuse me, and he's just not, I think I put that, just in case I didn't put it at the end. He's not, he's so out of his element here that he doesn't stop to think, I need to keep what I say so vague that, no matter what she does, no matter what the actual thing is, she will respond in some way that that will give him more information and won't make him look like an idiot for what it really is him not remembering. Alan, stop making clever remarks to her. And he tries to get her to just 400. He is so uncomfortable with this. They did really great on writing his clever remarks to her. I'm a little bumped by that turn me on part. I want to believe you, but I've been with enough women to know that doesn't happen so fast. Sometimes that doesn't happen at all. Oh, baby, I'm not lying to you. Of course not. Why would you lie to me? I'm just saying it would help if you could turn down the narration to a more believable level. Yeah, I'm just not buying it, and since I am buying it, I should be able to buy it. Oh, Alan, your lips are so thin and dry. Okay, now we're cooking. So, how are your folks? Charlie, that's not funny. I meant, how are they doing in heaven? What do you mean? Hell? Are you talking about the divorce? Yes, I am. Divorce is hell, but after a while it can be like heaven. You're even prettier than I remember. And then, first she's like, oh, this is, this reminds me of the night we first met. The night You remember? Of course I do. It was, and she's starting to talk, and then Jake interrupts and says something to Millie, and then Charlie's like, the lady is talking. Oh, right, Millie. Charlie wants to know what your mom's name is. Jake, you were not supposed to say that in front of Millie's mother. That was, she was just about to retell the night they first met, and Jake completely fails at making a positive impression on Millie. He talks about sports and competitive eating when she's apparently into art and poetry, and the first time that he met Millie, he just said anything, and he could barely get a word out, and he would repeat himself, and clearly, and he's standing there like saying, hey, here, you want some of this cake thing that I've just been munching on? That can be a very romantic gesture, sharing food with someone, but don't make it the opening line. That's creepy. That's yeah. Hey, would you like some of my saliva? That's not a good opening line. That's just not, to paraphrase Charlie, no one has ever, impressed a woman by, offering her cake as the moment that he first sees her. But, clearly on this double date, he's worked up some confidence. What he says makes sense. Every sentence he says builds on what he said before, but he's so clueless that he continues talking about things that clearly do not interest her. And just everyone has been, where Jake is in this episode, on a date like this, where you just kept saying things that clearly weren't going well, but you did not yet have the, you weren't so used to talking to someone that you were attracted to that you were good at, and also a lot of people fall for people that they don't share interests with and such. I'm not good with names, but I'll never forget the wonderful nights we spent together. We never spent the night together. We didn't? Well, no wonder I don't remember you. No, wait, I gotta know. Who the hell are you? And just, the let me think. There's the thing I wanted to say is that, once Jake ruins it for Charlie, then he immediately, Jake asked him not to insult him, not to call him names. And the moment that Jake ruins it for Charlie, Charlie starts calling him names, and Millie laughs at him, and that is the worst. No one, I don't know, I mean, I guess unless it's what you're into. Other than that, no one likes the someone you're really attracted to laughing derisively at you, and he's so angry at Charlie there, and I just love the first thing he's like, Mr. Drunky Face. That's not quite as hurtful as what was it, SpongeBob SmearPants, and hey Millie, how are you liking your lobster? Got enough butter? If you need more butter, there's plenty on Jake's shirt. And I mean, Millie doesn't have a lot of lines or a lot of but she does pretty well. She genuinely seems. Well, at first, she seems to genuinely just be. She's not she's not gonna really humor Jake. She's not gonna pretend to be into something that she's not into, but she's also not really she doesn't really turn him down either. And part of that might be, well, her mother's right there. She doesn't want, and her mother even tries to help. Millie's very into art and poetry, just like me. How is that going? The art and poetry. And just, and when she laughs, it feels genuine. It feels like she's really laughing at him because she doesn't really think very highly of him. He has not made a good impression on her. So, it could very easily, I can't name one off the top of my head, but I've seen comedies where we're supposed to think that, this character now doesn't think highly of this other character, and we just don't buy it. The acting is not, good enough. And here, she really but part of it is also Jake is someone that Millie would normally laugh at. She's, she looks at him and she doesn't think, boyfriend material. She thinks he really hasn't grown up, has he? Which, again, unless that's what you're into, that's really not very attractive. Someone who's just really not, behaving, acting their age, I think is the. Now, let's see. here's your money, don't ever call me again. And all three of them are disappointed with how the night went. Well, I don't want to brag, but she wouldn't take my money. And I love also how Jake thinks that Charlie's the one who ruined the double date. And earlier on the phone, I didn't voice type any notes for this, but you know, Jake is like calling the wait, was he the one call? I think maybe Millie's mother called Charlie's phone, and like Jake picks it up maybe or something, and you know, Charlie is talking to her, and you know, Jake is standing there like, ask her if she can put Millie on, and then I think Charlie just says, you know, you can ask her yourself, and hands the phone, and like, you know, he's, you know, is Millie there? Okay, when she gets home, can you tell her I really want to talk to her, something like that, and then he's like, oh great, thanks, bye, and then he tells Charlie, we're having dinner with, you know, all four of us are having dinner, you know, Friday to catch up. And Charlie's like, great, I gotta go to dinner with a woman I don't remember anything about. But of course you can't call it off. You know, and you know, Jake would also be furious with him if he did call it off. And he does also say, you know, I'm doing you a favor by going on this double date. But yeah, because Jake doesn't realize and doesn't care that Charlie does not want to see this woman again, because it would be really embarrassing if she realized he doesn't remember. And I really love her acting when, you know, you don't remember my name, and first Charlie's like, hold on for a second, and he insults Jake, you know, you don't remember my name, do you? He doesn't have a clue. And you know, Jake, honestly, at first when the thing was, you know, oh, Millie isn't home, I thought that it was like, you know, Millie's mom is like, oh, you want to talk to Millie, do you? And looks at Millie, and Millie's like, no. You know, which I realized that those signals would go completely over the head of, I cannot believe I'm blanking on his name, John Ritter's character on Eight Simple Rules. Rest in peace. That man was a comedy treasure. You know, when he was young, when he was middle-aged. Anyway, yeah, you know, that was what I thought. Actually, I guess it's possible that is it. And then Millie's mother was like, no, we'll all go on a date together. It'll be fine. You know, I won't let him misbehave, you know, or something. And that is also, I kind of do get the sense that my ultimately where I come down on it is, I think that I think Millie isn't there. And, you know, her mother is just speaking on behalf of her and like saying, it would be nice if we all went on a date. And then when she told Millie was like, Mom, but she's like, come on, be nice. He seems like, you know, and Charlie, you know, he's with Charlie, so, you know, I don't know. I guess she seems to have a positive impression of Charlie. I don't know how that happened, because they never slept together. So she didn't get suddenly dumped by him after sleeping. That's it. He kept thinking he was just about to close the deal. So yeah, you know, when she's there, she's not like super psyched to be there like Jake is. So yeah. Anyway, I looked on IMDb, you know, I was wondering if she would be listed as Millie's mom or something, but apparently her character's name is Jess. I really love this episode. Of course, Alan is so neurotic that the hooker can't take it. You know, he literally pushes away even a woman he paid. Even she can't stand having sex with him. And of course, Charlie continues saying something that gets him in trouble with Jess. He is so used to knowing everything. It's like when he went on the first date with Linda. You know, when he's out of bounds, he is out of bounds. He just doesn't like, you know, it's kind of one of those sink or swim. I'd like to play that game again. One of those, I don't know if it's also a different kind of game, the PC game. he keeps he's so used to knowing the things. So when it's sink or swim, he drowns straight up. Like he is a brick, just cannot. So when he does, he doesn't have a contingency plan. He doesn't have anything well rehearsed for a situation where he doesn't remember the woman's name. And that is that's a very insulting thing to be told, that someone doesn't remember your name. And of course Jake is hopeless on the date. He doesn't realize that the things he's interested in are not attractive to, the typical feminine girl. He needs to find a female version of himself, I guess. It's not as if Jake can't be charming, and he apparently did really well on that date. With was that with Wendy Cho? I forgot to mention that, but I like how they made her a thing. Like early on, it was like, oh, of course he's not as smart as Wendy Cho. She's super bright. And then later, he's attracted to Wendy Cho. He goes on dates with Wendy Cho, and then she eventually breaks up because he's not smart enough. But yeah, we know he can be charming. We know he can be attractive to at least some girls. The problem is that he's not yet at that point where he knows what to talk with a girl about. And at this point, there's this DVD, bonus feature called Must Pause TV, and it's about the vanity cards, where, the ones you have to pause to read at the very end of every episode. I don't tend to pause for these. I don't like pausing a DVD unless, like, if there's a fire, I'd take the DVD out almost immediately. Anyway, I don't like pausing DVDs. I don't like risking them getting any kind of, I don't want them to skip or anything. And that brings us to Rough Night in Hump Junction. Her husband's playing 9 holes. I thought as long as he's out, I'd play a couple myself. Again, the kids are not going to get that, but everybody else is like, okay, so he's going for all 3, I guess. You're a severely damaged human being. Why you gotta do that? Why is it always my way or the highway? Why have you gotta threaten with kicking me out? Then again, if the system works, why mess with it? He doesn't realize that if he keeps going down that road, Charlie's gonna turn around and come back, and it's not gonna end well. Hey, even for you, this is ridiculous. Hey, one man's ridiculous is another man's yabba dabba doo. You're still going up there with her? Why not? It wasn't her husband. And it's like, he just got punched in the face, and he's like bleeding. He got punched so hard he fell on the floor. Did you see that, girl? I'd be climbing the stairs if it was just a head and a spine. He's always been promiscuous, but I'm starting to think I may have to hide my bowling ball. I know what you mean. I'm starting to think if I have to change his sheets this much, I should put him on a roller. You know what that thing they said about if your erection lasts more than 4 hours, call a doctor? He just call another girl. For a while there, he'd have to stand on his head to take a leak. And Charlie talking about his missing testicle. I don't think I really lost it. It's like your keys. Just because they're not in your hand doesn't mean you've lost them. Found it. The way he's acting, Berta to Alan about China. The way he's acting, if I were you, I'd start sleeping on my back wearing a catcher's mask. So that Alan won't wake up with Charlie inside of his. Yeah. Wow. And Charlie has to sit on a little inflatable pillow to be comfortable, and he's still looking for girls. What's your pickup line gonna be? Want to come back to my place and help me find my balls? It was one ball and I found it. Who would you rather be? You're kidding, right? You have 2 black eyes perched on a scrotum cushion. Ew. I really love, he got punched twice. The second time he was like, I'm not going to open the door. So he just opens the little thing so you can look out, and then the guy punches through the little door. Yeah. Stand up, spread your legs. I'm afraid you're going to have to choose one. Hey, that was entrapment. I guess there's no point in me talking to you anymore. Great, then something good came of this. Oh, sorry, this is where it happens. You only opened the little thing, not the door. Still got punched. Stay away from my girlfriend. You're gonna have to be more specific. I've got a new job. It's what? Crash test dummy? My brother's still living. Sure, he wasn't going anywhere. And Charlie really doesn't get that him being told that Mia's getting married has led to him dating so much more. Come on, Charlie, just because I'm paid by the hour doesn't mean you should take forever. Man, you shrinks want to bring everything back to feelings, don't you? You think it has anything to do with your toilet trail? No. Then I guess we're stuck with feelings. If you're writing it down, say raccoon. I don't know why I said possum. You can't see it because your penis is in the way. Thank you. Not a compliment, Charlie. Says you. Or you can drive yourself into an early grave with indiscriminate sex. Define early. Charlie trying to cry is almost like Nicolas Cage is a vampire trying to cry. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. He's like, boo-hoo. And Charlie's gonna go and try to get Mia back. And Mia doesn't buy his excuse for why he got hurt. And Charlie kneels even though it hurts incredibly because of his testicles. Hi, Daddy. I told you about Charlie. Sir, I'm so glad to meet you. How much did you tell him? Unless I'm terribly mistaken, he and her mother did overhear you saying to her that the two of you should have sex because now you're willing to be monogamous, and you had a disastrous dinner with both your family and her family. Yeah. So it might just be that he remembers all of that. I sure would. Might not be a bad idea to check on me in an hour or so. See if I'm still breathing. I always do. He cries over Mia and then he accidentally hurts his testicles again, turning over in bed. And look at me, Mommy, I'm pretty. I think this thing, the whiteboard marker is already dying again. I'm glad these are cheap. Because I go through them like Jake goes through guinea pigs. You are so mean. I love you. I liked it better when you two didn't get along. It's your 5th wedding, Mom. What do you need help with besides remembering the groom's name? And around this point, the DVD started having problems playing properly, so I might skip some jokes even if I liked them the last time I heard them. Had to skip from 4:20 to 6:30. And Jake wants Teddy's money. Even though we're not related, you can still buy me birthday presents and Christmas presents. Thanks for the tip. And Charlie's talking about why he's so into Courtney. Isn't it obvious? She drinks, she smokes, she gambles. She's me with indoor plumbing. And Charlie's sitting in the car outside Courtney's place and has to lie on the phone about where he is and the noises. And he references Apocalypse Now, which I want to say his father is in. Amazing movie. Rose, what the hell are you doing here? I could ask you the same question, and the answer would be the same. Stalking. No, I'm not good at it. And Rose brought supplies for the stalking and is willing to share with Charlie. I really appreciate that she's not like angry a lot of the time. She's so cheerful and friendly when she's not gluing his testicles to his thigh. And Rose keeps helping Charlie's explanation to Teddy. If he was 30 years younger, I'd be following him. Oh, what the hell? And Alan was sitting in the dark waiting up for Charlie. And Charlie asks Rose to stalk Courtney for him. And Evelyn wrote personal vows for Teddy to read. And Al is obsessed with the frozen butterflies. And Evelyn, overhearing the fight between Teddy and Courtney. Wow, kind of makes you grateful that the three of us get along so well. So butterflies. There's a 50-50 chance they'll be ripped to shreds by seagulls. Wow. How much do you need? Forget it, I can't take your money. I hadn't actually offered yet. Excuse me. And she needs 50 grand. See, yeah, when they wrote this episode, they must have known that she was going to turn out to be a con man. And Jake is eating shrimp. He stuffed some into his clothes. And Teddy's vows include amazing Evelyn is at singing and sex. And the thing that, gave up a promising singing career to take care of your two sons. Not that who have never shown any gratitude for it. And she pointedly looks at them. It's like one of those memes about, when how your mom looks at you when the preacher says something about disobedient children. And the lovemaking. What can I say about the lovemaking? I can't say this. If you don't, I will. I'm pretty sure that's the same priest from the funeral of Evelyn's ex. It's kind of sweet how Charlie proposes to Courtney during the ceremony by mouthing the words. And Berta comes up with the butterflies and into the air, and they all just fall down. Want me to sweep them up and stuff them in the microwave? And then the seagulls. Never mind. Fish in a drawer. That looks wrong, I think. There we go. I think so. Sorry. Nobody told me you don't store fish in a drawer. I'd give it 6 months. Come on, we like Teddy. That's why I give it 6 months. That's why I'm rooting for him. I really love this episode. Such a great CSI parody. And, Berta sees Charlie and taking Courtney up to his bedroom. Charlie, at your mother's wedding? Yeah. I ain't cleaning it up. Kinky good or kinky bad? There's a kinky bad? And they find Teddy lying in Charlie's bed. Is he okay? And, Charlie goes and, takes the pulse. This might be a mood killer. And great CSI parody opening with the kind of, is it rock music? I'm not a music person, but, the kind of rock music and, the pans across the beaches. Or is it the dollar shop? Well, whatever. Are you on the bride's side or the groom's? Well, the bride is my mother, so the groom. Yeah, that's a stiffy. We have got a real problem here. What do you mean, we? And she backs out and cleans her fingerprints off the doorknob. And Evelyn refuses to stop singing, and Evelyn's upset that Teddy isn't singing the duet. Well, from now on, I think you're going to be working alone. You son of a bitch. Anybody called the cops? Well, you might want to consider it because you only got a limited time before you start stinking up the joint. So, who do you suppose was smoking Teddy's sausage? Berta, that is my father in there. So, who do you suppose was smoking your father's sausage? And Evelyn calls and changes her plane tickets. So if they're not going to cut the cake, can I have some now? And you still couldn't get into medical school. And then, I'm going to check for bodily fluids. Uh-oh. And you turn off the light. And, black light. Oh my God! It's like a Jackson Pollock painting. The ceiling fan's actually a cute story. I don't mind that the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie uses the same joke, but I do think this original delivery of it is much, much better, much funnier. Great hammy acting by Charlie in the flashback recreation thing. A slap on the wrist crime or pack my bags, shut and tape my butt crime. No, come on, I was nailing my stepsister at my mother's wedding. Lying seemed like the classy way to go. And Evelyn about a blowjob for Teddy. I'd rather drink your coffee. And, so he was with another woman. I'm not convinced of that. How else did the lipstick get there? Have you ruled out clowns? You should check for really big footprints. And then we briefly see a clown like smoking a cigarette next to Teddy in bed. And, maybe you caught him in the act, maybe you got angry. I don't get angry, I get even. What are you insinuating? That man loved me. He loved me so much, he didn't even make me sign a prenup. And he's got money, big money. Well, we don't have to look very hard for a motive, do we? Oh. I warn you, coffee tends to shoot right through me, so if you want to do the cavity search, you gotta do it fast. We don't need to do a cavity search. Can I request one? And Alan is so nervous. I love Teddy. I planned the wedding and it went great. The reception, not so much. Why? What happened? The groom died. Remember? Do you need to write that down? She's had a bit of bad luck in the dead spouse department. Not that you can have good luck in the dead spouse department. Can I have some more coffee? Who ratted me out? Was it Alan? It doesn't matter. Either one of them will rat me out for an Eskimo pie. I was very young. I hadn't cooked very much before, and nobody told me you don't keep fish in a drawer. A couple of heart attacks, a bathtub electrocution. She's. I mean, this is starting to look like the Joan. Crap. Adam's Family Values. I'm blanking on the last name. Joan something character. Joan Cusack, I think. And several of the prostitutes know Charlie, and one of them knows Alan. Hey, I'm not the one with the dead husband with someone else's lipstick on his dipstick. I bragged on that to force Courtney to take my $50 grand. Oh. I can't believe it. She conned me. She scammed me. She took my money. Courtney, what? I'll wait for you. And the episode gets one final gross out joke with Jake and the graphic animation for Evan. I don't know what they're called. I don't watch CSI. I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't think I'd used that one before in this video. And this DVD came with a CSI episode, and I correctly figured that the CSI episode would put the tension on the wrong part of the sentence. Yeah. the tension on the wrong part of the sentence. I correctly figured that this would be the CSI episode that immediately followed the 2.5 Men episode. What I didn't realize is that the 2.5 Men episode is a CSI parody, and the CSI episode is a 2.5 Men parody. And it's apparently called 2.5 Deaths, which, I'm not gonna comment on everything, I'm not gonna comment on as much of this as I would if I was doing the CSI, But, the writing is very funny, and I love a lot of the cast. Katie Sagal, who I really love in the double role as, the other character's double. Diedrich Bader, Stephen Tobolowsky, Gordon from 2.5 Men, I don't know what his name is. And, I didn't take a lot of notes until, I don't know, halfway through the episode or something. Beautiful people doing, people who've watched 2.5 Men haven't necessarily watched this episode, so I don't know how much I can. Okay, briefly, basically, Katie Sagal plays a Charlie Sheen type. She plays a Charlie Harper type on a sitcom that she stars in, and she plays a Charlie Sheen type in, outside of that sitcom. She's found dead, and her double, who has to put up with her abuse, is one of the suspects. Her writing staff, a lot of people put up with her abuse, and she's she's really difficult to work with. She drinks. She's a mean drunk. She's a she has sex with. She's not monogamous, so very clearly Charlie Sheen. But anyway, a Hollywood person, I forget, is, seeing the CSI stuff. And he says, beautiful people doing serious police work. There might be a show in this. Right. Her name is Annabelle. And I only found the episode being called 2.5 Deaths. I only, my DB has it in German. It's, it doesn't have episode titles for the, I think last season was when that stopped, and started just listing them by the number, which thankfully they didn't mess up the order, because they really did on Married with Children and Transporter, the series. But Transporter, the series, apparently got messed up by others as well, but but I found out by looking up via Katie Sagal the episode. And they're driving through Hollywood, and they spot the actors behind Charlie, Alan, and Jake, all of them smoking, and Jake spits, and I think, if I recall, they're smoking big cigars, so as if Charlie Sheen really rubbed off on both of them. And I mean, at this point, is Jake 14 or something? Oh wait, it's 5. 14, 15, something like that. And then they pass what I think is the lost plane crash parts, but I mean, those, did they just put those there? Didn't they weren't they always in Hawaii whenever, for the entire duration of filming the show? I don't know. It's, hence the joke, I guess. And I want to say her name is Mark Helgenberger, who's CSI regular, always a stand-in, never a bride. She says this when seeing that the stand-in, apparently Diedrich Bader is he's the driver and lover, and now also assistant or something. Originally he was just the driver, then she slept with him and got upgraded, and there's footage of him doing a quickie wedding, and we think it's with Annabelle, but then looking closely, the you know, Annabelle's double has a mole that Annabelle doesn't, and you know, presumably they cover it with makeup whenever she has to be on, and they didn't think to cover it with makeup. They didn't realize they were going to be filmed. And there's this video where Annabelle is gonna, you know, she's like in a good mood, so she embraces I don't remember his name. I'm just gonna keep calling him Dietrich Bader, and he looks so uncomfortable. He does not want to be there at all. And let's see. Yeah, and then they're in like the writer's office or something. The cops are in like something. They're in a building. I don't. And Dietrich Bader's like, lay off the Emmy, and the cops like, is that what this is? And I think 2.5 Men and like, you know, actors on some of them have won Emmys, so you know, cute joke. And like the writers on the, you know, on Annabelle's sitcom, you know, they know they can't keep doing this because the star is dead, and they're discussing what their next job should be. Now, has anybody contacted 2.5 Men? I'd rather sleep with Annabelle than write for that crap. Annabelle's dead. I'm saying. And there's this person of interest who took the elevator up to Annabelle's floor, and then like, you know, yeah, they suspect him, and they're going around handing out, you know, like a picture of his face, possibly from like the footage from the elevator camera, you know. And suddenly the guy, the audience sees the guy before the cops do, and also before he realizes that the cops are looking for him. And he's like doing that. He's like, his face is painted like a you know, silvery kind of, and he's wearing this, you know, robot suit, and he's doing some kind of performance art thing, and like moving like a stereotypical like 60s robot, you know, this awkward, clunky, mechanical, slow movement. And he realizes that he's been caught, but he stays in character as he tries to get away. So he turns away and slowly walks away from them. And I mean, one, he probably can't run in that costume anyway. Two, if he does start running, they're going to be like, oh, so that's the guy. Where there's like kind of sort of a chance that maybe they won't realize that he suddenly started walking away, you know, but it's really comical, very, very funny. And they arrest this mime, and one of the cops goes, a mime is a terrible thing to waste. And apparently they were going to make this guy a regular, and he was going to be the funny plumber guy. And like they show a little of the episode and he bends over, and the two, you know, Annabelle and her co-star are both women, so it's like a gender swap of 2.5 Men, like that. Although the kid's still a boy, I'm pretty sure. But I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't voice type in that, but the thing. Yeah, excuse me, my knee is acting up. The boy, there's like this shot of like where she's being really difficult to work with, you know, drunk and such, and the actors, the child actor is sitting there, and he like mouths, "Help me." And yeah, that was what I wanted. Anyway, Annabelle wanted to sleep with the plumber actor, and he was married, so he didn't. And so she got him fired, even though he was going to be a regular. And he had trouble finding another job. He got a divorce. You know, his wife left him, and then he's like, I'll sleep with Annabelle now that I'm no longer married. So he goes back, but was he the one who accidentally yeah, I think he accidentally caused her death because she like slipped on something and the back of her head. Some of the Teddy had one on the back of his head as well, and yeah, excuse me. I realize it looks kind of ridiculous, but yeah, my back requires it every so often. At least when I'm sitting for 2.5 hours straight. So this is kind of in the middle. I mean, this season isn't as long as the other season. Anyway, yeah, and like she hits her head on and he to make her realize he was the plumber guy. He turns around and bends over, and she immediately recognizes him. She's seen that ass before, and yeah, she hits her head, and that was an accident. And then they're like, the rubber chicken down the throat, that was less of an accident. And I can't yeah, there's a rubber chicken. I think you should watch the episode to find out why I can't do it justice. It is the classic story. That's the story of your life? What we have here is failure to coagulate. So the clot doesn't thicken, but the plot does. And we see the supposed main set. It really does kind of look like the 2.5 Men main set. And the ending, the killer explains how she knew how to do the whole thing. And there's like this really complicated thing. And at the end, she's like, "You've got no proof." And like, then it turns out she was working with one of the writers, and and they mention, this writer and the Annabelle's co-star, they're now going to go off and do another sitcom, and the cop is like, "We'll be watching you." And then like the writer's like, weekdays from 9 a.m. Central or something like that, a.m. c.m. p.m. whatever. I enjoyed this a lot. I don't think, do not count on me to ever like sit down and watch all of CSI or NCIS, Law and Order. I enjoyed a lot of what I did watch of. I don't think I've ever watched any CSI other than this, and NCIS, I really can't stand how conservative the politics of it are, but I don't know. I watched it because it was on and it wasn't reality television, And then I eventually stopped watching TV altogether. So the thing is that crap. Yeah, I probably won't ever. I am planning to do Without a Trace, but I don't expect to do the other, yeah. I enjoyed almost all I've watched of Without a Trace, and I think it's maybe the first half of the seasons. So. Now, again, here is a DVD bonus feature, and it's about both of these two episodes. So, and it's called "Dying is Easy, Comedy is Hard." Now, originally Chuck Lorre, the showrunner of 2.5 Men, just joked to the CSI showrunner that maybe they should switch writing crews and do an episode. And then she was talking to the press, and they were like, "What's going to be new on CSI this year?" And she was like, "Oh, we're going to switch writing crews with 2.5 Men, and okay, so we have to do it now." And Chuck Lorre also says, everyone we told it to, they were like, "Really?" No one went, "Terrific idea." Everybody were, "Well, let's see, and when we have the scripts." And the scripts spoke for themselves, both scripts. And yeah, apparently only when they wrote this episode did they decide that those two characters would be con artists. And they were like, if we're going to have a character die, let's make it someone we've seen before on the show. And they decided to make it Teddy. And Chuck Lorre says the heart of the episode is the interrogations, and yeah, those are amazing. And I think also Chuck Lorre said forensic shots, that's what they're called. All the forensic shots except for one had nothing to do with the story. It was all of Jake eating. And I had to skip from about 6 minutes in, 7 minutes in. And Chuck Lorre had trouble writing the CSI episode, and the two and a half men writers were responsible for the comedy in both scripts, and the forensic stuff was done by the CSI people for both scripts. But yeah, until watching this, I had no idea that this particular episode was not written entirely, at least, by the Two and a Half Men crew. I always just assumed that. I'm really glad I got to watch the CSI equivalent. It's hard to say which is better. I will say I think the Two and a Half Men episode is funnier. I'm not really a good judge for how good an episode is of CSI, as I think I've just laid out. If you catch the layout drifting by the point and understand where I'm going with this. If my hole could talk, Charlie knew Jake hadn't done all his homework. If there's no earthquake, I might have to do a book report by Monday morning. What do you mean might have? If there's no earthquake by Monday morning, I have to write a book report. Jake, please tell me you've read the book. I really wish I could, Dad. You lost the book, so how do you plan to write the book report? You mean if there is no earthquake? Yeah. I kind of put all my eggs in the earthquake basket. And Charlie mentioned, something about like Alan having LSD before having Jake. I never took any LSD. You might want to start telling people you did. And Charlie's in the bookstore and he's like, I'm looking for a book. Oh, probably need more than that. I want a book about relationship stuff. Ooh, relationship stuff. No, not ooh, relationship stuff. Relationship stuff. And he's going over the books. Smart women, foolish choices. Thank God for those gals. Oh, soulmate. I thought it was cellmate. Prison love story. Not that I'm into prison love stories. I like girls in prison stuff. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm looking for some help, okay? Now that it's autographed, I'm not a loser, I'm a collector. To Charlie, reading a self-help book doesn't make you less of a man. Okay, back to loser. If you're not vulnerable, you can't feel anything. Yeah, and? After you buy the book, I have to. You wrote all over it. And Jake won't let go of the rodent's angle to the Shakespeare book. And, let's see. Yeah, Alan's looking for Charlie and asks one of the guys selling. Oh, the self-help guy. No, that doesn't sound like him. He just left with a pretty blonde girl. That does sound like him. And Charlie stranded Alan and Jake. And Charlie can't stop talking in self-help phrases. This is really funny. And those are freaking... Maybe, I'm sure those books help some people, but it sounds so stupid to the rest of us. I'm sorry. I want people to get help. It's there. I have, in fact, composed a very long list of people that I think need help, but self-help books, they sound, the phrases in there sound ridiculous, but, and Alan's like, we had to take the expressway. There's no, and there's like no, what's it called? The place where you walk, so yeah. Bite Me. That's chapter 1 in my forthcoming book entitled Bite Me. Charlie, chapter 2 is called Kiss My Pale White Ass. Wrong foot, buddy. Oh yeah, thanks. I guess I should be reading The Taming of the Shrew. Get it? college, 1972. Need a pencil? No, I'm just trying to remember what I did in 1972. Yeah? I don't have a vivid memory of it, but I'm pretty sure that was the year I graduated to the big boy party. Wow. So it was a wonderful year for both of us. And around here I had to skip to 11 minutes in the episode. And she wipes around his mouth, and then they have a real mother-son dynamic, like he's 8 years old again or something. Why are you asking now? I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. And then they kiss. Okay, I'm in trouble. And, Angie's talking about how she has a son. How old is he? 32. They're cute at that age. And we hear Alan yelling at Jake from off screen. Should have put frosting on the damn book. He's never lost anything with frosting on it. I mean, you jest, but that is genuinely a good idea. Just make frosting, put it on the homework stuff, and, make up some excuse for when he has to return the book or whatever. I don't know why you keep banging your head against the wall. Because clearly the kid's destined to sell tube saws off the back of the truck. A business of his own. Single mother? How old? 32. I meant the kid. So did I. But if he's 32, don't do the math. It all goes bad when you do the math. Just a gigolo? Huh. I guess I'm not. And around here I had to skip to 16 minutes and 50 seconds into the episode. And she insists that he bring a jacket. If you don't need it, you can leave it in the car. So you're a chiropractor. Hey, hang on, I could have gotten into medical school. I just didn't want to spend 4 years in South America. He's so insecure. Immediately he assumes that she thinks he's less than a real doctor. She said nothing like that. No one calls us McDreamy, McSteamy, or McMuffin. I think those first two are from Grey's Anatomy, and the last one is McDonald's? McHammer. And Alan has a long list of awful things he's been called. What do you call people who say those things? My family? And I won't hurt her. I can't hurt them back. Oh, you don't want to do that. Yeah, I kind of do. Love is all around me? Is it hiding behind the rejection? And he's crying in her arms. And then all of them are driving together. And Jake hopes he can get out of doing the book report because he left the book at home. But then Angie just suggests, we can go to a bookstore. I really expected there a joke about how Jake was frustrated about that. But then instead it's just this thing of, they... Yeah, excuse me, the fun joke. And Charlie's sulking because and Jake go with on the trip when he was intending to be alone with Angie. Considering this is the end of the 5th season, I've been pretty lucky that I have not had very many DVD skips or the like. And it is at times like this when I literally have to start the VLC player, not hating, I actually love the program, not saying it's at fault at all, and pinpoint a time where I think the DVD can play from and fail maybe 4 times per attempt, that I feel very scared for those in the future who will live on a hard drive or in a cyborg body or the like. I just hope a lot of people become trained in rebooting and keeping the drive from skipping, etc. And waiting for the right snapper. You left 6 messages on my answering machine. Oh, that was just like a fella hitting a speed dial. I'm seeing a woman. That's not the headline, that's the name of the paper. Gone a little older. Well, you couldn't go any younger without having to register with the authorities. No, I mean older than me. We have our headline. And, try to saying, Angie is not a mother for him. The words toxic she-devil did not pass my lips. Boy, you're just a one-string banjo, aren't you? Clink, clink, clink. Well, it's 200 for when you're here for an hour. You were here for 5 minutes. Let's just round it off to 200. Hookers don't listen, Charlie. And the next patient is Alan, and he's upset because he's into Angie, who is with her brother, his brother. Wow. Yeah, sorry. I really should be awake. I guess I'm not entirely. And immediately Trisha and Charlie recognize each other and pretend they don't. Really? You're getting married? Lucky guy. Not that I know, I'm just assuming. I've never stuck a toe in myself. Actually, I've never stuck anything in. And Charlie hurries Angie out because obviously, there are feelings between him and Trisha from when they, last time they were together. It's, what did he say? Yeah, he says, it's adios, 7th grade, arrivederci, 8th grade. Okay, we can cross UN interpreter off the list. Wow. Or wait, was it the other way? Anyway, yeah. Yeah, he might have said arrivederci to the one he meant to say adios to. Anything above that would just be wasted effort. How do you call someone who just who just goes through life making the least amount of effort? Uncle Charlie? What, Ev? You're too lazy to finish words? Don't you mean it's good? And Evelyn sees her, well, the same theater, what a happy coincidence. Yeah, just like Booth and Lincoln. And, Evelyn is like, you were all, look. Well, considering how you raised me, it was either look or God. And Evelyn is clearly a cougar too. Now I'm just screwing with you. The answer's on the back of the book. Good night. You should have seen your face when you thought I was smart. And, Alan turns the light. Am I supposed to go to bed now? Dad? And Alan walks away from them. I still love him. I still love him. I still love him. You have a little boy? Aren't you afraid Jake will eat him? Jake is the turd in the punch bowl. Stop living in my house. Here we go. You keep saying that, but you never do. You haven't? I was just taking a shot in the dark. No, that's your sex life. And Charlie blows raspberries at Alan for, he got to sleep with Angie. Morning. What's so good about it? I didn't say good. Just mind your business and do your job. And she goes all close to him. Want to rephrase that? Desperately. And Charlie brags about how great it was to sleep with Angie. Oh, for God's sake, they just drop out of the sky for him. And Trisha is not over him. You understand that I'm involved with Jerry's mother, right? Well, I know, but I don't understand. You're not alone. Scorecards. You can't tell the players about the scorecards. Well, I knew what move I'd make. 3 pumps and an apology. What? You got a move I don't know of? Go fetch. Like he's literally a dog. Like it's, it's for you. Who's a good boy? And Alan is great at selling Charlie on Trisha and off Angie. And we learned that they went to Vegas, stayed in a hotel room for 3 days. He tied her up, and they had sex with 2 other girls, and he heard from the 2 other girls since. And Charlie closes the door on Trisha and Alan right behind him. It's not too late. Yeah, but I was good. Because she's so young and I'm what? A real trooper? So you're just gonna sit there and feel sorry for yourself? No, I'm also gonna drink. Come on, Charlie, this is not like you, except the drinking. I've got a lifetime of being hurt by you. At this point, I'm just a big scab. The joys of motherhood. After you two broke up, I went to see Angie, and she's a mean drunk. And, Charlie's told, Jake graduated 7th grade to 8th grade. Next stop, clown college. There's a college for clowns? Okay, clown junior college. And yet again, a great season finale and a great overall season. And yeah, 2 hours, 47, well, I guess, not the 4 minutes. Yeah, so almost 3 hours. That sounds about right for, yeah. I maintain these keep getting better. Pretty much every season is better than the one before it, and just yeah. So there's a couple more seasons. I really don't know how far I've watched, but I'm almost 100% certain that I've watched past this season. I don't know if I watched past the next season or even all of next season, but I feel like I remember Chelsea, and she hasn't shown up yet. So yeah, I guess that's probably the. But yeah, I really appreciate that Charlie and Jake have seen some growth, and that Alan has gotten with more women since, really at the very, very start. That's yeah, the growth is very welcome. It would get repetitive without it, and I suppose that's pretty much all I have for this season. So yeah, almost halfway. There's 12 total, so once I've done the entire next season, I'm halfway. And yeah, I'm still cautiously optimistic for the Ashton Kutcher seasons, which I am 100% certain I have not seen a single second of. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if someone made a montage and I didn't realize it was of that, but that's it. And I did not stop because I realized that Charlie Sheen was no longer on the show. I don't think I watched. I must not have watched as far as that, because I hear it's a fairly definite way to get him off the show, and I would have remembered that. So, yeah. As usual, I hope you enjoyed watching as I enjoyed watching and recording, and I will catch you next time.